Hey everybody, my name is Paul Cummings. I host Veterans Breaking in IT Cybersecurity. Today I have with me Maranda Simmons, a senior IT recruiter with Smartlink Group. She's actually an active member of our cybersecurity Discord study group, EDSN Cybersecurity. Participated in our first ever Veterans Breaking into IT Cybersecurity mentorship engagement, to which we discuss a lot of the resources that are out there available free for military and transitioning, as well as spouses and extended family members. How long have you been recruiting altogether?
And thanks for having me, Paul. I have been recruiting for over 4 years now. I actually got my start at Smartlink as an IT recruiter, and I've been doing it since, and now I'm a senior IT recruiter.
Okay. So obviously you have a passion for us geeks. Right? You wouldn't have joined our Discord group. What drives you to want to help us break in to the career domain?
Yeah, absolutely. So my father-in-law, as well as both of my grandfathers, are veterans. So I've always had a lot of great respect for our veterans, of course, as most of us do. But specifically helping veterans break into IT and cybersecurity, you guys are the ones that have been protecting our country. You've been protecting us, and we're so forever grateful for that. So I think the cyberspace is definitely a space that needs protecting, and who better to do that than our veterans. So I think the transition from going from the military into IT and cybersecurity is a great transition.
That's a good segue into how SmartLink's philosophy works. You're all about making connections and actually learning what a person is, what they're about, and then matching talent to career posts, which was awesome. So I can use a slang of what everybody's normal day to day is now getting ghosted by recruiters. You get a good job lead, yeah, you hit the recruiter up, they call you, and then it's quiet. You don't hear anything. So with that type of value that you bring, where you actually connect with a person, how do you build that relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So our tagline at SmartLink is actually we're relationship driven, not resume driven. So that means that we love to develop relationships with our candidates. Even if something's not a fit the first time, we do try to stay in touch with people and find them something eventually, and definitely keep in touch with people in our pipeline. So that's just really important to us. We do unfortunately hear that sometimes too about candidates being ghosted, and considering that I was a candidate once myself, I know what it feels like to submit your resume to tons of postings, even interview for jobs and just never hear back, and that can be really frustrating and disheartening as well. But particularly, I feel like if you have someone that you've been working with and you get them an interview and they go through the process, they're spending their time as well. So I feel like people deserve the respect of at least getting a follow-up, particularly a phone call follow-up if possible. But that is something that we hear a lot. I do oftentimes have candidates thank me for getting back to them, even if they're being rejected for a job. They just say, thank you so much for letting me know, because you don't know how many times I've interviewed and applied and not heard back. I think that is sometimes because of the volume sometimes of the staffing agencies. We are a smaller staffing agency, so we have the availability to really maintain those relationships. But I would say that's definitely a good thing with SmartLink, is that we have the ability to do that.
So on the same side of that, I know when I shot you my resume, right? It was actually a human that was reading my resume. So it wasn't, just like a blind I'm going to a LinkedIn website, I'm clicking apply, there goes my resume, and I don't know if a recruiter sees it. So, with that, does that really help you nail down between, talent and candidates that are applying for positions? Like, are you helping streamline to where you're not, going to a blind website, like let's say AT&T, and saying, hey, I want to do that job.
Mhm.
You have a source for a contract, and, hey, I've already reviewed a resume. I just want to get them in front of you.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the great things about working for a staffing agency, is basically, like you said, you can apply to AT&T or Verizon, but sometimes the resumes can just kind of go into a black hole. Whereas when you work with a recruiter, oftentimes we do have contact with specific managers. So we can really like get your resume in front of a manager rather than it just going into the abyss in some large system. We can actually get your resume in front of a human, and let them know all about you and why you'd be a great fit. So that's definitely one of the benefits of working with us.
That's a huge benefit too, because I know personally I've been going through my transition since October, and I know the first 19 versions of my resume got lost in somewhere in ATS robot land, or just or got bounced because you know uh, resumes are definitely an art, and we're definitely into. We got second year of COVID, right? Um, we're not putting out these nice, flowery, beautiful resumes that really grab attention anymore. It's all about the how generic can I make it to, because we don't know what ATS XYZ company's using. It might not like the asterisks, it might not like the quotation marks or what have you. And it's like I applied for FireEye, and it got immediately bounced because my cover letter was too nice for it. So I got an instant rejection because it just garbled everything. It's definitely cool that you know it's a resume going right to a recruiter's hand, and not going through uh, a buzzword,
Yeah.
sort of.
And that's something else that we can do too, because we do obviously cold call sometimes too. We'll go to websites like Monster, Indeed, and Dice and look for resumes. So we're looking for very specific keywords. But something that I do quite frequently is when I'm going through my pre-screen and I'm looking through the candidate's resume, if I don't see some of those main things on the job description highlighted on their resume, I do have the candidate go back through and add as much detail as possible, because I am aware that sometimes managers will have the habit of just doing a control F and looking for specific words. So that's a benefit of working with us as well, is that we can really kind of give you that feedback on how to tailor your resume to the specific position.
And that was actually my next question. As far as, do you help nail down what should be reflected on a candidate's resume?
Yeah, definitely.
I know I was guilty of it for quite a while, where I was using one resume trying to do that Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all. And it was getting me places, but at the same time, because I'm going for cyber jobs and I was listening to a bunch of IT that, hey, you should be in IT with us instead, this, that, and the other. It's like, I want to go cyber now.
Yeah, I mean, the more that you can tailor your resume to a specific job, the better. I know it can be time consuming, but if you can really get some of those key terms in there, it's really beneficial, especially with the applicant tracking systems. Due to the search mechanisms they use, if you can just get some of those keywords in there, it can really make your resume stand out.
What are some hot jobs that have fell SmartLink's way this month?
So recently we received several positions for one of our government contractors in the Washington, D.C. area, and they are permanent full-time positions ranging from information assurance to business analysts to Java developers. We do also have an opening for our government contractor. Basically, they're just looking for someone with a full scope poly clearance. If you have that level clearance and just, a general IT background and a willingness to learn and a drive to grow with a company, they're basically willing to talk to you. So if anyone has that, just get in touch, and I'll get you in touch with one of the managers there. In addition to that, we're always looking for SOC analysts, firewall engineers, things of that nature. And we should have an opening pretty soon for another government contractor that I think would be great for a lot of the veterans looking to break into IT, because it's going to be more of an entry-level IT position, and you'll just need to have a secret clearance. So we should be getting those soon. So again, if you're interested, just get in touch. I'll keep you pipelined, and when that comes along, I'll be sure to reach out.
Awesome. Sounds really great.
Mhm.
Let's see. Are you willing to provide interview help for those that are trying to break into IT and cyber? I know the answer, obviously, because I've worked with both you and Julie. So, in your own words, are you there to say, hey, I've worked with a company XYZ before. I kind of know what they're looking for. You want to schedule a time to sit down and go over a few things?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always happy to help do mock interviews and give tips and tricks, as well as just review resumes and give pointers and kind of edit those as well. So we're happy to do either one of those things. Just reach out.
And that wraps it up with the final question being, when can we expect you to join us on our Discord group and build a lab out and geek out with us? I mean, you can turn it into a family thing. I mean, husband and the kids. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this year, OWASP is celebrating their 20 years. And I submitted my talk to be a speaker. Hopefully I find out soon if I got, yay or nay on it. But the concept is securing the next 20 years, right? So just did a town hall with James Azar on Wednesday. And that was actually one of the huge things that came up. STEM is in schools, but, as parents that are in the IT cyber, workforce, we're not really involved in the PTA, and that PTA money is going towards stuff like agriculture or robotics, engineering, when, STEM, you can absolutely bring in like cyber hygiene. We can get some middle schoolers and high schoolers that are already prepared to, work us out of a job as soon as they, graduate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't have a home lab yet, but that would be awesome to have someday. And I'd love to learn more for myself personally with IT and IT security. Even though I'm an IT recruiter, I've never actually been hands-on in IT security. So I know how to look for certain things, and I know things that I've learned from actual professionals over the years. But I am fully aware that IT is the way of the future. And I have a daughter, and I've already said, I really think it would be great if she got into some sort of IT path someday, because that's really the way to go. That is our future. So I think that's really important. But yeah, I'd love to learn a little bit more hands-on myself.
Awesome. So thank you for taking your time today, to give us a little breakdown of what SmartLink and yourself have to offer to us. I've been happy so far. Obviously, it's definitely a waiting game. COVID does not help at all with that. I'm looking forward to seeing how many more engagements that we can build out of our collaboration with the study group and SmartLink.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been great working with you, and I look forward to meeting new candidates as well.
Awesome. I actually just added a new onward opportunity cohort today. So we had 5 people join, some ranging from starting off getting their A+. I got one that's working on their CCNA and another that's working on CISSP. So we're definitely building the talent pool. And then we also added a Mr. Aggie or Augie to it today. So Augie is a veteran that has been doing IT information security for a very long time. He was my code today for hosting IT fundamentals breakout room. And, we're just all about trying to figure out, how to provide all these trainings and offerings for people. Talking with you, before for one of the positions that I applied with through you. You hit the nail right on the head, right? Labs. I've heard it at least at 5 interviews already so far that, hey, what are you doing with a lab? And then some of those people that I've talked to, I may not have gotten a job because they wanted, super hands-on, fresh cloud knowledge that I don't have privilege of having, but they're definitely looking for people that are building labs, because that shows that they have the passion and the curiosity. If there's something that you could provide as like a guidance to what kind of lab you would suggest for some of the positions. Obviously, you said SOC analyst, so you can pretty much pick a few flavors. But when you start talking about these government contracts with the FedRAMP, what kind of advice would you have for that?
I would just say, just basically a lab in general. I think your lab is a great example of what a lot of these companies are really looking for. But it doesn't have to be anything too elaborate. Just basically showing that you have a passion for IT security and that you like to do IT in your spare time and like to do like break fixes and things like that in your spare time is really what they're looking for. I don't have anything like specific as far as specific brands or tools, but I think just in general, just starting to build a home lab and showing that you do things on your own time is really beneficial.
That's good. You brought my lab up. My lab is actually free. Everything I got was through VirtualBox.
Oh, wow.
I got my
Yours
Windows
is one of
10.
the more impressive that I've seen, honestly.
Well, I broke it recently, so now I have to go back and restart it. So
Yeah.
I was trying to unload a sandbox, and messing with the database on it kind of screwed it up. So the good thing with the VM is you just turn it off and turn it back on. So now I'm just gonna go back and fix it, lay off on the sandbox, and hopefully find one that I can play around with better. But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Again, thank you. I know Jeremiah created the jobs page inside our Discord. He was obviously tired because he didn't give anybody permissions yet. But definitely looking forward to seeing a lot of your sourcing in there. And I'm looking to add Adam Fisher to the group as well, one of the lead Mantech recruiters. So, just like you, he's all about matching a candidate's passion and talent to a position. Thank you for everything that Smartlink does itself, and thank you for the patronage that you have for myself and the veterans that I'm helping.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Have a good day.
You too.